Regardless of whether you want to scale horizontally or vertically, recruitment is an important part of this business. And recruiting the right creators is often the difference between you spinning your wheels, wasting a lot of time, and you just getting on the right track and cooking. When you've got a good creator, shit falls into place. Okay, if the branding's right, the creator's right, the relationship's good, the mind's open, things come together and they come together quick. But when it's not and something's spinning the wheel somewhere, if there's a cog in the wheel with open-mindedness to your ideas, the brand itself, the attitude, the work ethic, these sort of things just really hold back what could be an amazing project. So getting the right creator on board is key. Now, in concept, you might presume I'm going to tell you, head over to Argentina and find yourself the most beautiful girl with the best assets, an amazing ass, long hair, because at the surface, that's what Telegram will tell you. But anybody with any experience knows that these creators have a very low ceiling and they're basically in a glass box and they can fill the roof. It's not going to generate the hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're promising them. And that's if you're even telling them, because most people that use these kind of creators are probably ones that are putting them on a salary, right? This sort of stuff, it's child's play. It's not the way to grow a big agency. It's not the way to make lots of money. The way to actually grow your agency is going to be to have good creators on board that you're operating in a positive environment with, and things can grow from there. So the first things we want to look for are what makes them unique, what allows them to dominate market share, what allows them to become a one of one. Okay, because if you want to go out there and find a hot girl, you want to go out there and find a MILF, a girl next door, all of these things can work, and at the surface they'll make some money, right? And if you're just getting off to the ground and this is your first creator, take it on and give it your best shot, because there's nothing wrong with a bit of experience and practice. And I'm sure if you dedicate your life to it, that you're going to add value to the creator. So I'm not saying don't sign them, but what I am saying is know what works and know what your priorities are. If you are at a point where you've got 10 to 20 creators now, none of which are really that high potential, then you need to rethink what makes the most sense. Okay, we're very selective. We reject probably 9 in 10 creators that we talk to, and we reject probably a further 9 in 10 on the phone that we talk to. So in order to work with us, you're probably looking at a 1 in 50 to a 1 in 100 chance of actually getting our time and attention. That's not because we're arrogant. That's not because we don't care. That's not because we don't want to sign creators. It's because we understand the value of our time and we know what makes the most sense. If our team are wasting time with lots and lots of poor creators, it's just spinning wheels. Whereas if we're waiting and holding back, not taking that on, okay, boom, gold mine, all efforts go in, things print quicker. So back to basics. If you're a Western agency, we advise you go with the Western creators. Not because they're necessarily any better, but just because of an image thing. If you're a USA agency and you're just piling in the salary Argentinian models, or you're a UK agency and you're piling in the poor Romanian, Ukrainian creators and they're on salary and they don't even know what the account's making and all of these sort of stuff, it just isn't a good image and the Karens are going to come for you. You want to run a transparent business model that looks good in the public eye. And so although there's nothing wrong with having creators from South America or Eastern Europe, and that's absolutely fine in the minorities, just don't set up your business in a way where it looks like you're exploiting a third world country or exploiting unfortunate creators, because that's not a way to run a business that looks good in the public eye. Then, once you know where you're looking, you now need to know what you're looking for. So once you're out there and you're exploring, have a think about what actually caters to a good creator, because the weird and wonderful brands are the ones that print the money. The hot girls, as mentioned, really have quite a low ceiling, and unless they're genuinely drop dead beautiful, which is not always the case, then really the market cap's pretty low. And even if they are that hot, at the surface it's still not enough. There's a lot of hot creators on OnlyFans. There's a lot of amazing tits, a lot of great ass, a lot of beautiful hair on the platform. But there's also a lot of that stuff on Pornhub and stuff that's free, okay? And a lot of these other big hot creators are also doing stuff for free. The easiest way to create enough interest for somebody to actually trip up, fall in your funnel and buy something is by making it unique, having a USP, the same as any industry. So if you've got a creator that's genuinely a one of one, she's a goth gamer that looks a certain way, she's a certain height, she's a dwarf, there's an amazing asset, it's femboy, trans, anything fetish based, these kind of things are always the way to narrow the market share. My best advice for when you're recruiting is to have a brand that is micro-niched enough to have a very specific way of engaging a very specific niche of people, that really love you because you're the best at what they want, but also it's still hot enough to the surface of everybody else that finds it attractive. Examples of this would be things like shiny porn, gym leggings, heels, thigh-high boots, etc. These are all things that people have very specific fetishes for, but they're also hot to the wider audience, whereas something like sploshing is very specific to the niche, but no one else is really interested in it. So have a think about this when looking for creators and the way that they brand themselves. Beyond that, there's 3 key things I want you to look for. One is the open mind. They need to have an open-mindedness to your ideas. That doesn't necessarily mean they need to do what you say, they need to at least consider it. Because there might be a lot of creators, and in my case, I've seen this a lot of times, where there's a creator that is, amazing at a certain game, or has an amazing ass, or dresses in a certain way, but doesn't really want to brand it as that, or doesn't recognize that that's a part of their branding. I've jumped on the phone before with a creator that's trying to be a hot gym girl. Turns out she's cracked at Fortnite, and she'd be pretty good at streaming. So understanding how to actually lean into the right kind of brands is a big part of picking out the right creators. But then beyond that, you also need to think about, are they actually open-minded to the ideas that you have and delivering on that? Beyond the open-mindedness, number 2 is going to be the willingness to learn. Because again, there might be an amazing brand there, or it might already be perfect, but there just needs to be some small tweaks that need to change. I.e., you might decide the branding's amazing, but we could do with shifting the strategy, or we could do with moving over to this platform. I want you to make these slight adjustments. If they have a little bit of a I know best attitude, that's fine, but leave them to their own devices, because you can't necessarily offer value if they aren't willing to take on the feedback. The best value you give is making small changes that have big impacts. Okay, this is the easiest way to make lots of money for everybody. If they rebuttal at your ideas, it ain't really going to work, because the ideas that you present aren't going to be well received, they're not going to action them, and it's not going to materialize, meaning that your work becomes redundant. So they need the open-mindedness to the new idea, and then the willingness to be educated and learn. Beyond that, one of the most important things is just having the good relationship. So number 3 is get on with this creator. If you jump on the phone and it's toxic, then this can maybe be worked out a little bit. I mean, I've had a few interesting first sales calls that have worked out to have amazing, prosperous relationships that have worked long term. But if it's really rebuttaling and they don't agree with your concept, they don't like your ideas, they just think they know best, honestly, again, I'm going to ask you whether you think the juice is worth the squeeze there, because it probably won't check out long term if the relationship isn't nice and prosperous. They, by proxy, will then maybe resent the open-mindedness to take on new ideas. They may resent what you suggest and therefore not be willing to take on the lessons and feedback that you give. So the relationship with the creator is going to be key, because that's what creates synergy. Synergy is what creates teamwork. Teamwork is what creates results. So now you know what to look for, we need to think about what not to look for. But I'm actually going to do an entire video where I sit down and discuss with Chad the red flags that you want to look for in creators and things to avoid. So go and watch that video to learn more about that. Beyond that, we're going to look into what we actually do to recruit, because now we know what we're looking for. Let's go out and get it. I think recruitment is probably the most important part of your agency, because if you sign good, big creators, your agency can 10x in revenue. If you sign a creator that's doing 100K and you're currently doing 10K a month in revenue, your gross revenue 10x'd like that. What a powerful tool. It's also what keeps your business afloat. It's also what replaces your churn. It's also what brings new opportunities. It's also what creates new environments for referrals. All of these things come about from good recruitment, and it's amazing what recruitment can do. We've doubled our turnover. We've 5x'd our turnover right back at the start. We've made huge moves as an agency by signing big creators. And now today, we can add $1 million a month of revenue to our top line by just signing a new creator today. Where else in business can you add $1 million a month of revenue like that and take a lot of profit from it? Okay, it's very unlikely that you can do that in a lot of industries. So take advantage of that tool. Recruitment's something that you need to do at scale across as many pages forever in this business. I don't ever see a reason to stop. We're still doing the same Instagram mass outreach now that Cam and I started way back in 2021 when we first learned how to do it. Run it on a few verticals, okay? Recruitment should be split. There should be your targeted, focused, high importance recruitment where you're picking out the best quality creators. This goes back to what I said earlier in this video. Pick out things that you want. Good branding is good open-minded creators, things that people you want to work with. But then also just do the mass scale stuff, because accumulatively this will replace your churn, this will give you a core business, and this also gives you lots and lots of leads for practice purposes. I imagine you're at the start of your agency, or at least in the infancy, at which case practice is mega valuable. So getting a mass outreach, VA, couple of dollars, onto Instagram, profile, plus button on things you like, just mass DM, 50 to 100 creators a day, depending on what your account can handle. This is a surefire way to get the practice in. Okay, send something that sparks curiosity on a personal account, something like, hey, have you got 5 minutes? Hey, great opportunity. If you're open-minded, let me know what time you're free today. Something like that just makes a little bit of, what do you want? And then they come back to you like, yeah, what do you want? Right? They're going to be abrupt. They might call you a pimp. They might call you Andrew Tate. They're going to get to the point, but it doesn't matter. Personal account, nice curiosity spiking message, get to the point and have a conversation with them. It's going to give you the opportunity to practice, and it's going to be quite difficult because they're going to come at you. They get loads of DMs from other agencies, so when they come back at you like, hey, I'm not interested, that's your chance to work your magic. That's your chance to practice your reframe. That's your chance to practice your sales skills. On a business account, it's a similar thing, but just be a little bit more corporate. Have less of a personal touch, less of a curiosity spiking message, more of a professional outlook. Again, this is going to look great if you've got lots of creators. Cam's already done a video on personal branding. All of this relies on that. If you don't have good branding and your agency doesn't look professional, your account doesn't look professional, you don't look happy and fun and entertaining and exciting, you look like a pimp, you're smoking cigars, you think you're a G, you got loads of friends, I'm sorry, it's not going to work out because no creator wants to talk to someone like that. So have a good personal branding and look like somebody that's approachable. And pro tip here, have lots of creators follow you. If you follow loads of creators and they all follow you back, and as a creator, I click on your profile after you've outreached to me and I say, hey, followed by my friend, followed by big creator, followed by my friend, I'll probably hear you out. If it's followed by no one but a bunch of other G's, I ain't gonna hear you out. I'm gone. So if you run the two verticals of mass outreach to as many people as possible on an agency and personal page, and then you combine that with your little bit more time intensive, pick out the right kind of creators, go doing your market research, head onto Pornhub, throw in the categories that you want to work with that you think you've got value to add to, go on to search engines, go into the places where you can be more specific and target what you want, find exact creators and do some market research yourself, then outreach to those people. That's going to be a great way to do this. Again, pro tip, if you have people in your network that you can use to leverage outreach with, i.e. influencers, celebrities that you might know, then I get not everybody has these, but if you do, make sure you use them, incentivize them on a referral scheme to reach out to the bigger creators for you. Because if somebody like Ronaldo messages you, you're going to open it whether you're interested or not. And so if you've got someone in your circle that has a big following or a reputable name or a blue tick or lots of followers, then at least get them to try it for you. That's pretty much Instagram wrapped up. So beyond that, we can think about other ways to recruit. To be honest with you, the only other ways that have truly offered a net value at some sort of quick succession for me that are scalable with everybody long term are going to be to offer free value and referral schemes. If you have free value to give, like a YouTube video or value in a Telegram group, there are creators that watch these videos. There are creators in these groups. And if you're offering genuine value, sparking curiosity and making them feel like your offer's good, they might consider you. And if you have a chat with them and do all of the things that we mentioned in the recruitment sections of this course, then your chances of signing them are pretty high. I'm not telling you they're going to be great creators, but again, it's practice, it's numbers, it's churn, it's volume. Referrals, on the other hand, can be your best tool, better than anything I just mentioned. We've made the most money from referrals by a country mile because the difference between referrals is that it's a warmed up lead and it's likely similar to what you have. If somebody's going to refer, the chances are it's a creator that you've grown because they're happy. If you've grown them, their friends are similar, you can probably grow the friends. So what it means is that most of the leads that come through are not just warmed up to you and easier to sell to, but they're likely your target audience and what you want to actually find. So if you are having a lot of success with a Porg creator and things are going well and she refers another Porg, then yeah, cool. Warmed up lead, ready to go, niche you're familiar with, printable dough. It's going to work out time after time. So referrals are going to be the best way, and the easiest way to do this is just incentivize it. A lot of creators have got a bunch of friends that are ready to go, but they don't think about it because why would they? They're not running a business like you are. But if you actually contact them and say, hey, I just wanted you to know we actually have a really good referral scheme. I'd love for you to have a think about people in your circle, people you know that might benefit from our services. We'll make sure you're fairly compensated. We have the best referral scheme in the space. I guarantee you that they'll at least have a think and you might get one or two back. But that can be the difference between a few new referral chains that go on. We've had creators that have referred creators that have referred creators that have referred creators, and the chain can be up to like 5-6 people sometimes. And you're like, wait, hang on a second. We've got this person from this person, this person from this person, all the way back to this person. They're making bread. So they're going to be happy because the referral income is going to be great. But also, you're making bread. Everyone's happy, the service is prosperous, things are in a good place. So referrals are your golden ticket with recruitment. Pro tip, have a think about campsites. There's lots of creators on campsites that are working very hard, and if the branding's right, could be making way more, doing way less. If you've got a trans creator, goth creator, e-girl, anyone like this who's chilling on a campsite like Chatterbait, for example, the reality is, if they're open-minded to the ideas, if you can have a good relationship and have a good conversation, and you can convey an excitable offer, the likelihood is they're probably going to think, at least, why not give it a go? I'm already in the space. I already dedicate lots of hours every day to this, but I could make way more doing way less. It's a no-brainer. They'll probably give you the chance to consider. A more advanced strategy that you can look at once you've got a core base of creators and lots of revenue coming in is SEO. It ain't cheap, it ain't easy, and it isn't fast. So it's probably not the best way to start. And I'd probably advise against it if you asked me whether or not I'd start with SEO. But it is something that does have a lot of value. Now, look, let me cut to the chase. Most of the leads are going to be poor. I don't want to give you the wrong message and think that you're going to get some golden boots when you head over to the SEO and start pushing out some ads, right? But if you've got a good site, or you've got some good ads, or you know how to rank pages with blogs and things like that, you can pick out some very, very good creators. And you will attract pretty mature, sensible creators as well. Most creators that come through on SEO know what they're looking for. They know what they want, and they just want it, and it's simple. And the transaction can be quite straight up. Hey, I like your stuff. I saw your site. I like what you stand for. I want to work with you guys. Okay, cool. When shall we start? You know, it's a much easier transaction than, hey, I found you on Instagram, and yeah, I think you do really well, and you haven't got to pitch it. They come to you. So the quality of leads are pretty good from SEO, but most of them are pretty poor, and it does take a lot of time and money to get started. So hold off on this, but definitely consider it for the long term.